Hi guys, you're welcome back to Open Your channel. If you're yet to subscribe to our channel, can you click the subscribe button and the notification button? Would appreciate your comments and your likes. So this particular video is dedicated to menstrual hygiene day, where we're teaching you guys how to make a reusable sanitary pad. So the first thing I'm doing now, because I'm using a pieces of pattern, I'm making a straight line to be sure that what I'm measuring is absolutely correct. So the next thing I'm doing is I'm measuring 10 inches. So I'm measuring 10 inches all through. So the next thing I'm doing is I'm measuring 7 inches up. So I'm going to mark it here and the other side, then connect it with a straight ruler. So there we have a pattern. The next thing is to cut it out. So I've cut the pattern out. That's 10 by 7. I'm trimming out the excess. So we need another pattern for the insert. We need another pattern for the insert. The insert pattern is going to be 8 inches. It's going to be 8 inches long and it's going to be 3 inches wide. That is 10 by 3 inches. So after the ruling this, I'm going to mark 3 inches from this, and then I'm going to cut it out. So I've cut out the 8 by 3 inches and I've given it a round shape. You might choose not to put this round shape if you so wish. So the next thing is I'm going to shape the 10 by 7 inches pattern. So the first thing I did is to fold it into 2 like so, and then fold it also into 2 again, making into 4 places. So we now have a square kind of shape. So what I'm doing right now is I'm measuring 1.5 inches, so that by the time I open the pattern paper back, it's going to give us 3 inches. And then I'm going to go up and measure 1.5 from the side that is open, not the one that is closed. So I've measured 1.5. I'm connecting it right now with the straight ruler back to the first 1.5 that I did, like so. So the next thing is to cut out the shape. So there you have it. You can choose to leave it like this, but I'm giving it this shape for me to have the sanitary pad vibe. It's not necessary. You can give it any shape you want as long as it's holding. So I'm cutting out the shape right now. Like I said, this shape is not compulsory. You can give it any shape you want. And there we have it. We have our sanitary pad pattern. So right now I'm writing the wing on that side so that it's not confusing by the time you are doing your own, especially for first timer. So I'm also labeling it. So it's 10 inches long and 7 inches wide. Now so from there to this is 2 inches. So now the next thing is for us to cut our fabric. So now remember the first one that I cut, which is the insert. I'm labeling it insert. You can make yours longer if you wish so, but I'm using 8 inches for this. So the next thing is for us to cut our fabric. I'm showing you the fabric so that you will notice that this is a waterproof fabric. It means a fabric where you pour water, it doesn't sink in so fast or at all. So the next thing is for us to cut the fabric. So I'm folding the fabric that it is enough for the pattern. So now that it is enough for the pattern, I'm going to fold both the pattern and the fabric once more. As you can see here, so I'm cutting, I'm following the shape, and I'm leaving ½ inch seam allowance. I'm leaving ½ inch seam allowance all through. So we have so I've cut the waterproof, which is the base of the sanitary pad. So we have two of it. We're going to sew like this, place it on each other and sew it all through like so. So the next thing is to cut the insert. So for the insert, you need to use a fabric that absorb like a cotton. So you can use your old Ankara that absorb the real cotton fabric that absorb, or you could use a chinos that also absorbs. So for this, I'm using a pure cotton. I'm using a pure cotton for this. So as you can see, it doesn't necessarily have to be a lot. If you're a fashion designer, you can donate your fashion waste to people to use for this. Remember, the goal of this is to fight the menstrual poverty. A lot of people can't afford sanitary pads right now, especially with what is going on in the country. A pack of sanitary pad is getting really expensive every day in Nigeria. So if you're a fashion designer, you can donate your fashion waste to people to use for this, especially teenagers or young girls who you think cannot afford a sanitary pad and they've approached you. Can you please donate to them? So I have 4 pieces of that fabric, but we need 8, so I'm going to cut another set. You could give yours a round shape or you could make it square. It doesn't necessarily have to be this shape. So now we have 8. I'm counting it to be sure we have 8. I'm counting it for the purpose of the video to be sure the viewers know that we have it. So the next thing is to sew the 8 pieces together. Sew the 8 pieces together. So now I'm on the sewing machine. So now what I have done is I folded the fabric into 2. I'm going to look for the center. So now I've gotten the center. Remember, is 7 inches plus the ½ inches that we added to it, making 4 inches. So now I've notched the center and I'm opening it. So this is where the insert we get into the sanitary pad. So I'm cutting. Make sure it's not too wide, just enough for this insert to be able to enter into the sanitary pad. So the next thing is for you to use either your and a needle to sew this, or you use your sewing machine. So now I've done that. I've sewed this together now. So now I'm turning it out. So remember this part where I'm using to turn it out, you can also give it a buttonhole stitch if you have, but if you don't have, once you open it, use your needle and thread to sew that part so that it's not tearing, or is the opening is not getting wider by frequent use. Now the insert, you should have more than one insert. You should have several inserts, like maybe 3, 4. If you have opportunity, you can have more than 4, and then so that when one gets wet and you take it out, you can wash it and then insert another one. You could also, if you have opportunity, you could also have this the waterproof pads, you can have more than one of it also, so that you'll be able to wash them as often as possible. Please, your hygiene is very, very important. And then if you are donating this, please kindly teach the people you are giving it to how to properly take care of this, so that they don't save money and then get infected. So now I've inserted the cotton into it. So the next thing I'm going to do is to sew a Velcro on the wing. Yes, Velcro. Some people call it plaster, and you could also use button for this. Just make sure it's something safe. So you place one on this side, and then the other one is going to be on the other side, so that by the time you plaster it, it's going to hold like this, and then you go and sew. So now that I'm done, I've done the sewing of the Velcro on both sides, and you can see it. And then we have our finished sanitary pad. Thank you very much. So now, each time you use the sanitary pad, please remember to take it out, to take out the insert, wash the waterproof, and wash this, and then sun dry it. Please sun dry it, and then iron it, so that you kill all the germs that might be on it before you insert it back into the waterproof part. Thank you very much for watching. See you in the next video. Bye.